Hello and welcome to the Parasite Cleansing Workshop. So, I actually just delivered this workshop to a group of lovely, lovely people, and I forgot to press record. How embarrassing. But I did promise the workshop to a lot of you, so I'm recording it again. Okay. So, I'm going to share my screen so I can talk you through the presentation that I have made you today on parasite cleansing. Okay, so the context for our conversation today is all about parasites and parasite cleansing. So you're going to get a lot of value if you fit this criteria. Okay, so this presentation is for anyone who is experiencing chronic symptoms. They can be, skin issues, digestive complaints, poor sleep, anything that's chronic, so maybe 6 months or longer. Anyone who has been diagnosed with a chronic illness or chronic disease of some sort, and really anyone who just wants to become the healthiest version of themselves. And I trust you'll notice the value of applying these ideas today. So make sure you have a pen and pad ready so that you don't miss a thing. And this session is unique and it's going to be different because the ideas that we're discussing here, this is a root cause approach to healing. So it's not the root cause, but it's a key component, okay? It's a key component in igniting the body's self-healing mechanisms. It's really important to understand that all bodies can heal themselves, okay? When given the right circumstances and the terrain is created to be favorable to healing. And that's what I'm going to help teach you today is how to create that environment that ignites self-healing mechanism. And parasite cleansing is, in my opinion, one of the most overlooked causes of ill health. And there really is a lot of incorrect information online when it comes to parasites and parasite cleansing. And so I'm going to be busting some of those main misconceptions to make sure that you don't fall victim to them. And what I'm talking about today, it's not just theory, this is practical. And these are strategies that are proven and not made up. I use these myself, I use these with my clients, and this is how we get those really big changes in the body. So parasite cleansing has been an absolute game changer, and not just for me, but for my clients. Incorporating this ancient practice will really take your health to new heights. It's going to take it to the next level, wherever it is that you may be right now. It's going to help you achieve the types of transformations that you're just not getting anywhere else. And so the goal of our time together today is to help you learn how to parasite cleanse, learn why to parasite cleanse, and to learn when to parasite cleanse, because these are all important factors when it comes to parasite cleansing. However, the problem is that we only have a short period of time together today. And so at the end of the presentation, I am going to share with you where you can get further information to help you on your health and healing journey. And my final ask is that you take action on the ideas that resonate. So, would you consider yourself to be an action taker? Yes, no, I hope you are, because you can read all of the books, you can take all of the courses, you can learn all of the things, but unless you actually take action on what you learn, you're not going to make any progress. So it's so important to be someone that is an action taker, and I hope that is you today. So if that's you, just give yourself a nod back. You are an action taker, okay? Make sure you hang around until the end. That's why I'm going to walk you through how to make your own parasite cleansing supplement and parasite cleansing suppository. And this is going to be for both beginner, intermediate, and advanced methods, okay? Really, really powerful stuff, and probably why you're here right now, okay? It's the good stuff. So stick around and we're going to get to it. But before we do that, I need to show you where parasite cleansing fits in with the root cause healing approach, because like I say, it's one part of the puzzle. The big challenges. Right now, you're probably experiencing some big challenges in this area. You may have learned that parasite cleansing is an important part of healing naturally and really getting to the root cause of your health issues, but you're not sure how to parasite cleanse effectively or properly. You don't want to make your symptoms worse. You don't want to end up, with a flare up. And you may have even tried and failed using various other methods, which, can be really frustrating and tiresome. And so today we have, a really great opportunity to help you understand how to listen to your body's messages. So the desires you probably have in this area are, to be confident in how to parasite cleanse, to know how to use this practice to improve your health and your symptoms, and find a protocol that feels right to you so that you can finally address the root cause of your health problems and create long-term healing. That's true healing, right? When you can actually heal for the long term. Who can resonate with that? Does that make sense to you? I just come off the phone and I was looking in the mirror and my skin was red, it was angry, it was full of cysts and it was sore. And I was supposed to be heading out that night, but I felt so insecure and upset about my skin. And I just knew something had to change because every day I would wake up and I would look and I would dread looking in the mirror, what I was going to see. Was it going to be okay? Was I going to be able to face the world that day? And no matter what I was doing, I wasn't getting better. Things just were not working. And it felt like I was going round and round in circles. I was taking various supplements. I was trying antimicrobials, antifungals. I was doing probiotics. I was drinking bone broth. I was doing all the things right. But no matter what I did, my skin just did not respond. And it was so frustrating, so frustrating. But after that phone call that I just had, it was like everything just clicked. It was like this light bulb had gone off in my head, and I had been missing the bigger picture. I've been so focused, laser focused on blaming candida and parasites and bad bacteria and believing that there was this enemy in my body. And I was using all of this weaponry to attack it. That I never really stopped to ask myself, why is it there? What is the purpose? Why has candida overgrown? Why is there parasitic and fungal overgrowth? What's the root cause of that? What's the purpose? Because knowing now, I know the body doesn't make mistakes. And so it's there for a reason. And we have to work holistically and look at the body as a whole. For so long, I was trying to treat my skin in an isolated fashion. So I was using topical treatments to treat the skin rather than seeing my body as a whole and working holistically. And when I changed my focus, that's when the changes really started to begin. And after that phone call, I had this life-changing revelation. It changed the entire way that I saw health and healing. And that's what enabled me to get to the root cause of my chronic health issue. And after that phone call, I walked into my kitchen, opened up my supplement cupboard, which was full, rows and rows. Every shelf was full of different supplement products, different herbs, anti-candida this, anti-parasitic this, which had got me nowhere. And I threw them in the bin. I decided I wasn't going to do that approach anymore. I was going to implement what I'd just been taught, what had just made so much complete sense to me. And I was going to, go head first with this new process and fully trust it. And this process I was about to begin was nothing to do with skin and acne. This was about improving and enhancing my body's own capabilities with the intention that my body would then heal itself. And when I did that, do you know what happened? My acne cleared up. I never, ever again got a cyst. When I finally shifted my thinking from thinking that there was an enemy in the body to understanding that the body is always on your side and everything it does is for a reason, everything changed. And that's when I had this revelation, which I want to share with you right now. So this big revelation that I had was igniting the body's self-healing mechanism is the most effective way to heal the body from chronic symptoms and chronic illness. So the body is capable of healing itself. The body is always trying to heal every single day. You cut your knee, your body repairs that. You get a cold, your body overcomes that. That's your body's natural state to be in. So if you're not healthy right now, just know that your body is trying to do that. Your body is trying to be healthy and is trying to heal you. And what we can do is help encourage and create the environment that your body needs to strengthen its immune system to then complete that function and ignite that self-healing mechanism that every single person has within them. If you take nothing else away from this presentation but that, then please let it be this simple message. Knowing that your body's on your side can do wonders for your mindset and the results that you get. So I'd love to know where you are right now in this process. I've called this the self-healing framework because we're all capable of becoming our own healers. We can self-heal and we're going to be our own healers when we have the right tools, which is something I want to teach you today. I want to teach you what the tools are and how to implement them, with parasite cleansing being a really important tool in your arsenal. So where are you right now? This is what I call the self-healing framework. So along the bottom, you've got the healing progress. Your progress in healing will be negative or positive. You're either making progress or you're not, right? Healing protocols, the protocols are incorrect, or you're doing protocols in the incorrect way, incorrect order. The other end, you're doing the correct healing protocols. So let's take the lower left quadrant. So if you're in the lower left quadrant, you're going to be doing the incorrect healing protocols, unbeknownst to you, or the correct protocols in an incorrect manner. And you're going to have a negative healing experience. You're not making the progress that you want to make. That's going to leave you in a state of confusion, okay? You're going to be really confused as to why you're not making the progress you thought you would make by implementing these protocols. Now, the upper left quadrant, you're implementing what you believe are the correct healing protocols, but you're having a negative healing experience. You're not making the progress. That's going to leave you feeling frustrated. You're going to be in a state of frustration, despite your best efforts doing everything right in the right way, but you're not getting results. Very, very frustrating. I have been there for years. I get it. And sometimes it's not about just doing the right protocols. They have to come together to create a holistic approach that then ignites that mechanism, right? Lower right quadrant. You're doing the incorrect healing protocols, but your symptoms are reducing and you're making progress. That is a band-aid. Perhaps you found a supplement that works wonders for you, and you take this supplement, your symptoms are under control, you're living the life that you love, everything's good. Apart from, if you remove that supplement, you're going to be having all your symptoms return. And so by that definition, that is a band-aid. It may seem better than medications, but it's still something that you have to rely on that hasn't got to the root cause of your health issues. We always want to get to the root cause, okay? Upper right quadrant. This is when you're doing the correct healing protocols in the correct way and you're making positive progress. And this is where we want to get you. This is where we want to get everyone, in the upper right quadrant. And this is when you've ignited your body's self-healing mechanism. You've done all the components, all of the things, and your body is now working on your side. Where are you on that quadrant? Can you identify yourself? Are you in a state of confusion? Are you feeling frustrated? Are you relying on band-aids? This is a safe space. It's okay to admit if you are on band-aids right now to make this process easier, but you need to make sure you are working on the root cause in the background. Or maybe you're well on your way. Maybe you started to learn about the holistic process. You're implementing various healing modalities and you're on your way. So have a think, where are you on that quadrant and where can you identify with that? So let's roll up our sleeves and get into the actual parasite content now. What is a parasite? And I want to touch on this because I think a lot of people straight away when they think of a parasite, they think of worms. They think of those disgusting things that come out in the toilet they can visibly see. And a parasite really is anything that causes the body harm. So this could be a bad bacteria, this could be a fungus, this could be a worm, this could be candida. And ultimately, it's not about the organism specifically. It's usually more about the volume. So when we have an overgrowth, that's when things tend to go become problematic. And the reason they overgrow is going to come down to the terrain of the body. So it always comes back to the terrain. And I'm going to touch more on that in just a moment. So where do we get parasites from? The first thing I want to make sure you understand is everyone has parasites. They are not a bad thing on their own. They are part of our inner ecosystem. So our gut has a microbiome, and within that we have various organisms. We have beneficial bacteria, we have soil organisms, we have fungus, we have yeast, we have worms. And it's this diversity which actually creates a really strong, robust immune system. So it's not actually a gut that's devoid of parasites and harmful organisms that's the strongest. It's what's the most diverse. The more diverse it can be within balance, so no overgrowth of one certain organism, and that's how you create a really strong immune system. So we all have parasites to some degree. And in the way we live our lives, the things we're exposed to, the diets we have, where we travel to and visit, and so on and so forth, is going to dictate how vulnerable we are to parasites and how many we actually then consume. So some examples of where we'd get parasites would be unsanitary places like public toilets, maybe certain parts of the world that are higher in parasites than others, especially because our microbiomes are designed with where we've grown up. You know, we are familiar with the bacteria and organisms in our environment. When we come to a new environment, we're actually more vulnerable to those new organisms. So a lot of people go on holiday and get food poisoning, and the people that live there that are used to those bacteria could have them all the time and not notice anything. We go somewhere different and foreign, and we consume those bacteria, and then we get food poisoning. And it's just where we're not used to that. Our inner ecosystem is not made up of that certain organism. Imported food, and this is going to link into that, because if you're getting food now from all around the world in all different countries, the organisms within that food are going to be different to what we're used to, and so it can contribute to health issues. Our pets, we deworm our cats and dogs and horses because they do have parasites. And if your dog licks your face, you kiss your dog, they are going to be transported. Other people, similar to pets, other people who are carrying parasites, we can get from them. Raw food, soil, that part of life. It's not about trying to hide or avoid parasites in your life. It's about creating an internal terrain that is not going to become overrun with parasites. And this is what I'm going to teach you today. So first of all, let's touch on the biggest misconceptions, because there's a lot of people out there teaching on parasites right now, and some of it is just plain incorrect. So I'm going to touch on these misconceptions so that you don't fall victim to them. Misconception one is that parasites are bad. Blanket, bad. And this is incorrect. They have a job, right? If you are overrun with parasites, it means you're toxic. Parasites consume that toxicity. So actually, without those parasites, you'd be sicker and iller than you may be right now, because the parasite's job is to consume it. They're only there because the environment is favorable for them. So we must change the environment if we're going to be successful at parasite cleansing. Solely focusing on killing parasites is a band-aid approach and will not get you any long-term results. Misconception two is that we need to expel all parasites. Again, we will never expel all parasites, and we don't want to. Like I say, we want diversity. That's key. We want them living within our ecosystem in harmony with the other organisms, because they all have their part to play. They're here on Earth for a reason. Misconception number three is parasite cleansing is a root cause approach to healing. Like I say, parasites are there for a reason. We have to go one step further, one step back, and they're there because of toxicity. So detoxification is an important part of addressing the root cause, because that's part of the reason why the parasites are there. And this is reinforced by Dr. Holder Clark, who famously said parasites and pollutants are the root cause of all disease. These go hand in hand. If you are looking to parasite cleanse, you must always be detoxifying at the same time and applying detox protocols and practices. And I'm going to tell you how to do that as we work through this presentation. So this is just a visual aid here to reinforce the point. So your body is that fishbowl with the murky, muddy water. There's toxins, there's pollutants, there's chemicals, there's all sorts going on to create that terrain. Vaccinate the fish. This is the antiparasitics you're having. You're having herbs, you're having products, you're having foods, but that's the environment. So, okay, that antiparasitic may kill that parasite, but what's going to happen? They're going to come back. It's going to overgrow again because that's the environment that promotes that growth. And like I say, their purpose is to help consume that because the body is actually trying to clean the tank, clean the body to get to the right hand side. Or we can step in and actually help it do that job. So a holistic full body approach will be to change the body's terrain. And part of that can be having the antiparasitic herbs as well, but it must be done in conjunction. There is no point in solely focusing on that and not changing the terrain. And so this leads me on quite nicely to the mistakes that people make when parasite cleansing. And there are many, many mistakes. I could be here all day telling you about those. But I'm going to touch on the three big ones. Okay, so the first one is sort of reiterating what I've already been explaining, but focusing on only parasites and not seeing the bigger picture. You must focus on the terrain. I need to drive that point home all day long. It is all about the environment within your body. I had a client who joined the wellness program. They had been cycling anti-candida herbs for 2 years, and it had got to a point where none of the herbs and products were working anymore, and their symptoms just exploded. The candida had built up such a resistance to all of these to all of these products, and their former practitioner had run out of ideas. They had no new herbal product to recommend, and they didn't know where to take this client next. And so this is when they found me. The candida was extremely aggressive. Instead of being localized, it was now systemic. The symptoms showed that the candida had gone full body wide. So we brought in the core principles of healing. So we're not just, because that approach is just parasite cleansing. It's just looking at candida, which is the same thing. We brought in the core principles. So that holistic approach, which is going to impact the entire terrain of the body, within 12 weeks, the symptoms were gone. That's the power of changing the terrain, and why a holistic full body approach, irrespective of the organism or symptom in situ, is so important. Whether it's fungus, whether it's candida, whether it's a worm, it doesn't matter. It's the same holistic process. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you right now? So 1 would be you're only treating parasites. You're going after the parasites, kill candida, whatever that may be. 10 is treating the entire body holistically. From what you've heard, where are you right now, would you say? And if you were to master this area, what impact could that have on your health in your life? Can you commit to learning more in this area? The second mistake that's really common is not rotating the approach or the herbs or the protocols. So organisms become resistant. They're clever. They hide out in biofilms, they do all sorts of things. And it's similar to antibiotic resistance. Some bacteria are becoming resistant to antibiotics, and it's similar with these organisms becoming resistant to the herbs that we use. So we have to keep them on their toes. We have to rotate things. We have to weave things in, and keep it exciting, keep it interesting. So I have a case study here of Hannah. She had Lyme disease, candida, parasites, high toxicity, and all of these were contributing to a myriad of health issues. So it was very difficult for practitioners to identify what the root cause was because they all seemed disconnected. Heavy fatigue, hair loss, chronic pain, all of these signs that the body was struggling. And so what we did is the strategy she had before was trying to focus on Lyme and killing parasites. And actually, it was more about focusing on the entire terrain of the body and implementing full body detoxification protocols. And that was the game changer. In my personal experience of doing this for 10 years now, I have never seen anything ignite the body's healing mechanism more effective than detox. So detoxification is such an important part of root cause healing as well as parasite cleansing. And when we did that with Hannah, it changed her whole life. Her symptoms disappeared, her health improved, she changed jobs, she ended her relationship that she was unhappy in, She moved counties. She just created a whole new life for herself because she had the energy to do that. And when you have your health, you can go on to do anything. It's just so important. The insight here is do not attack candida or parasites. That is only a band-aid approach. And parasites and pollutants must be treated together. Mistake number 3, not opening up your detox pathways. Here's a lovely image to drive that point home. This is your colon. This is impacted with stool. If you're killing parasites right at the back of that colon, the right back of the tube, where are they going to go? So you're killing them. They're dying. They're releasing die-off. They're releasing all of their waste products. They're making you feel sick and ill. And where are they going to go? Nowhere. So that's going to get trapped in the body. Dead parasites with all of their waste is going to get trapped in, and it's going to make you feel horrendous. And it can actually be very, very dangerous to do. The average person has 15 to 20 pounds of waste trapped in their digestive system. And this is why detoxification is such an important part in parasite cleansing. Again, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? Are you doing any detox? If you're not, you're on the lower end of 1. And if you're doing full body detoxification, then you're going to be a 10. And if you were to master this area and learn all about full body detox, what impact could that have? How is that going to accelerate the results that maybe you're not getting right now? Can you commit to learning more in this area? The parasite epidemic. Why suddenly are parasites such an issue? Why are we suddenly chasing after parasites and seeing these as being the root cause? And there are 3 key problems. I'm sure there are more than this, but these are the 3 that I see as being some of the most important. We've lived in harmony with parasites for as long as humans have walked the earth, but suddenly they're becoming more and more of a problem and arguably an epidemic. And here are some of the main problems for why that is. Problem number 1 is our soils are depleted. So our soils used to be abundant in soil organisms, some of the exact soil organisms that are natural antiparasitics to the human body. And through the widespread use of chemical pesticides, fungicides, and herbicides, they've destroyed these delicate organisms. And so when we're eating our fruits and veg that we pick from the soil, we no longer eat those alongside the natural antiparasitic soil organisms that would then inhabit our gut. And there was also things like diatomaceous earth that would be in the soil, and again, that's a natural antiparasitic. So we're just losing our natural source of antiparasitics, and so we have to be mindful to bring these in ourselves. Problem number 2, we've forgotten this ancient practice. So parasite cleansing is an ancient practice, and as an example, our ancestors, when they would eat pork, knowing that pork is highly toxic, pigs can't detox themselves. And so with high toxicity, as you now know from this presentation, that is going to encourage the overgrowth of parasites. So pork is well known for being high in parasites. What they would do when they eat pork, they would always serve that with cloves, and they would have them hand in hand because cloves are antiparasitic. Similar to the Japanese, whenever they have sushi, they would have wasabi. And the wasabi we have here in the UK especially is not the authentic wasabi that they would have as an antiparasitic. As well as just doing general regular parasite cleanses. That was just part of their culture, which unfortunately has been forgotten through the generations and is contributing to these health issues that we're now experiencing in our population. And then problem number 3, global toxicity levels are at record highs. The world has never been so polluted and toxic. We are using chemicals that we have never studied and have no idea on the long-term side effects. There are chemicals in our food supply chain, in the water that we drink, fluoride, cadmium, chlorine. We have products that have chemicals in and ingredients that we probably can't even pronounce, let alone know what they do in the body. And the legislation around these ingredients in makeup and toiletries are so relaxed, scarily relaxed. They're very reactive. So you have to prove there's a problem before they'll be removed. The air is polluted and toxic everywhere, pretty much everywhere. And we're not proactive about detox either. So we're slowly becoming more and more toxic internally, which is contributing to that toxic negative terrain, which is then encouraging and promoting the growth or overgrowth of parasites. Here are some symptoms of parasites. I'm not going to go through these because the symptoms of parasites are pretty much endless. And that's because the symptoms of parasites are also the symptoms of dis-ease in the body. Okay, there's a disbalance. There's gut dysbiosis, there's toxicity, there's all of these usual signs and symptoms and messages from the body that it's struggling. That's essentially what's happening. And there's multiple things going on, which is why we need to do multiple things to address the root cause. How one body heals, all bodies heal. So I keep harping on about this holistic approach. What does that actually look like? And what is the most successful way, therefore, to do a parasite cleanse? And so I'd like to introduce you to what I have created, which are the 6 core principles. And these are what I believe ignite the body self-healing mechanism. These are the principles that I implement with all of my clients in order to get their bodies into a position where their bodies can heal themselves. This is why we have had success on the program with pretty much any health condition you can think of: infertility, acne, eczema, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, IBS, and anything, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, you name it, because it's getting to the root cause of any chronic health issue. And the body, we're handing over to the body to do what it needs to do to resolve it. And the body has an innate wisdom. On a subconscious level, the body knows what's going on. So all you need to do is create the right environment for the body to implement that mechanism. And so I'm going to quickly just talk you through these 6 core principles. So 1, detoxify the body. Your body is going to be struggling to do all of its day-to-day functions if it's overwhelmed with these toxins. So, your liver's going to be sluggish. You're going to have toxins going around in the blood system. Your lymph is going to be sluggish. It has an impact to every single part of your body. And things are just going to slow down. You're going to get really tired because you're trying to do all these things under the weight of these added extras that really just shouldn't be in the body. Cleanse from harmful organisms. So parasite cleansing is an integral part of root cause healing, but it's one of 6. It's one component of many and not a sole component. So just make sure you know the difference there. Just want to make that clear. And so by cleansing from harmful organisms and reducing the load of pathogens via the body, the immune system is going to strengthen. But as I say, we have to do it holistically with these other parts. So healing the gut is going to be an important part of cleansing from harmful organisms for the long term, because healing the gut is what's going to change that environment. So we're going to, cleanse the colon, which then means there's no longer a breeding ground for the harmful organisms. We're going to ensure we can actually digest, absorb, and assimilate the nutrients we're getting and fill in nutritional deficiencies, which is actually one of the 6 components. So having quality nutrition, but also healing the gut, as well as some specialized supplements, is going to ensure that we can flood the body at a cellular level of all the nutrients and vitamins that it needs. Because even just having nutritional deficiencies can mean a myriad of different symptoms. But if we then went and said, okay, these symptoms are showing as a zinc deficiency, I'm going to go and supplement with zinc, that's obviously a band-aid approach. Are we getting enough zinc in our diet? Okay, if we are, there's a problem with the gut. We're not actually able to utilize that zinc. And detox is going to come into that too, because our cell receptors, if there's not enough minerals, for example, it will use heavy metals in its place. So we have to then detox from heavy metals in order for minerals to then start being taken up by the body when the diet is sufficient in the level of minerals that we need. Let's not forget our depleted soils, where we are losing a lot of minerals that we used to obtain from that. And regulating the nervous system. If you're in a chronic state of fight or flight, you're really stressed, you have anxiety, your body's not able to heal. Your body can only heal in a parasympathetic state, and that needs to be a state of calm, a state of relaxation. And so there are certain tools that we can implement to help regulate the nervous system and get you into that state of being, which will then enable us to ignite that mechanism. And then finally, install ancestral disciplines. So, what's that? One of the examples are what I gave about pairing pork with cloves. That's something our ancestors would do. Movement. How many people now spend their days at a computer desk, sitting all day long, getting home and watching TV, and having really sedentary lifestyles? And also sunlight. Are you getting enough sunlight? Are you getting enough sleep? Just these basic human needs that a healthy body, needs to function. We need to get the foundations right before we can even build on all of the rest of it. And when these six components all come together, that's when you're going to get those really powerful transformations that I know you're looking for when resolving a chronic health issue. So how are these principles relevant to you in your journey? Maybe you're looking at that and you're thinking, okay, I'm doing 3 of those, but I've got another 3 that I need to do. Or maybe you're nearly there and there's just one more area that you need to focus on. Or maybe you've only been looking at parasites and actually you didn't even realize there were these other 5 components and principles that you need to explore. And if you were to master this area of all 6 core principles, what impact do you think that could have on your health and your life? It's powerful. And can you commit to learning this area more? So now we're going to talk about how you get started with parasite cleansing. So, like I say, you need to open your detox pathways. That's how to avoid one of the big mistakes. And the colon is the bottom of the drainage funnel. So we always start there. In the wellness program, that's the first cleanse I'll take any of my clients on. We'll cleanse the colon before we do anything else. And colon cleansing has an impact on all 6 of the core principles, or the way I do it anyway, because it helps to heal the gut. Because when we have old compacted waste along the intestinal wall, the body can't absorb nutrients from the food properly because it's got all that old waste in the way. It's going to help cleanse from harmful organisms because they no longer have a food source and a breeding ground there because of that waste. You can imagine, right? It's letting off all of this waste products and it's just making it really toxic inside, which parasites obviously love. It's going to detoxify the body. It's the way I apply it to the nervous system regulation is when my clients are drinking their colon cleansing cocktail is we recite positive affirmations. So I am healthy, I am healing. Thank you for my healing. Thank you for my good health. And that really helps the body to believe that it's in a state of healing and it's working towards that healthy body and mindset. And it helps with nutritional deficiencies, as I said, with the whole gut healing, because you're able to absorb better. And how we link that to the ancestral disciplines is, our ancestors would squat. That's how you fully evacuate because you increase the angle, and so you're able to fully open the rectum. And how we can mimic that is using a squatty potty. So it's basically just like a potty that you put your legs on when you're on the toilet, which just helps to create that angle that you need for the full evacuation. All of these things together result in a stronger immune system, which we need to ignite the body's self-healing mechanism. So with the protocols and measures that you do, the more of the 6 core principles that you can incorporate, the quicker your body is going to respond and is going to heal. But if you don't do anything else, when you're parasite cleansing, colon cleansing is important. So parasites and pollutants always go hand in hand. That's the most important thing to remember. So how to colon cleanse? The first strategy is enemas. If you're not familiar with enemas and you don't know how to perform an enema, I will send out, with this recording, I'll send out a link that you can follow and you can watch an enema tutorial video. This is a step-by-step process on how to do them. But essentially, you're inserting water rectally to flush out the colon. Strategy 2 is via colon cleansing products, and strategy 3 is herbs and or oils. So a herb is senna leaf, and an oil may be castor oil. So these are short-term measures. These are only alongside the parasite cleanse, okay? Just to make sure that you are able to expel the parasites. There's deeper detox work that you can do, which will be a bit different to these protocols and sort of outside the nature of this workshop. So it's on an individual basis. So this is a case study here of my client, Abby. So she suffered for 3 years with various digestive complaints to the point that she became very intolerant to certain foods and would actually throw up. So if she had something heavy, like a pizza, she would actually throw that back up. And so we started with the colon cleanse. We were laying the right foundation. We started to remove all of that waste that was compacted in there, along with the gut healing program, and bringing in those core principles. And her flare ups reduced by 80 to 90%. You can see the weight loss journey she went on by implementing this. And so the insight we can take from this case study is that colon cleansing really lays that foundation for good health to be built on and deeper detoxification to be implemented. And the more detox we can do, along with that holistic approach, the quicker your body's going to respond and heal itself. So let's get into the parasite cleansing. There's 3 strategies here. Strategy 1, always rotate your herbs and products. That doesn't need to be at every parasite cleanse. So, if 1 month you're doing a parasite cleanse, you can have the same herb. But if you then go and do another parasite cleanse, it's great then to use a different herb. So in the wellness program, for example, I use 4 different parasite cleansing protocols, and we use 1 each month. And then once you have these 4, you can then rotate those again in the future. Strategy 2, pair with the core healing principle. So as I said, the more that you can do it as a holistic approach with all 6 core principles, the more successful your healing and health transformation is going to be. If you can't combine it with all 6, then parasites and pollutants always go together. Please remember that. And then finally, strategy 3 is to implement a parasite cleanse over a full moon. And the reason is that the full moon influences our hormones. So our serotonin increases and our melatonin decreases. So parasites actually use serotonin to move around the body. And this makes it a really great time to parasite cleanse because, for example, the hookworm suctions on to the intestinal wall. So if it's now, can you imagine trying to kill or cleanse from that parasite when it's suctioned on? That's going to be very, very difficult to do. And obviously, we are weakening them and starving them and all these other methods to release that suction. That if it's of its own accord, using serotonin to go around the body, this is the perfect opportunity to intercept that parasite and remove it from the body. Actually, as well, over a full moon is when your immune system and your immune function is lowest. And this is another reason why parasites are so active, because our immune system's not there to identify and keep them in check as much as it would usually. So here's the interactive part. I'm going to do full screen so you can see this properly. So exciting. So I'm going to start with just something that's really, really basic, a garlic clove. So this is a beginner option. You're looking to get started. You'd simply peel this garlic clove. This is quite a big garlic clove. And whatever size you feel comfortable with, you would just dice that up as small as you can and put it on a teaspoon. You would take that like you would a supplement and then chase it with water. I do that before bed. I will tell you how to take that and how, sort of the actual specifics of when you would do that in a moment, but just bear that in mind. That's one process. The other beginner method is using Domaceous earth. So this is, like I said, this was abundant in soils once upon a time, a natural antiparasitic. This is also a binder, so just be aware that this could slow down bowel function, which is another reason why it's so important to include colon cleansing methods and support your bowel movements when you are parasite cleansing. But essentially what you would do with this is you would take 1 teaspoon of Domaceous earth and put that in a pint of water. Drink that, and I would actually recommend drinking a second pint of water to flush through. That's just going to help counteract the binding qualities of the Domaceous earth. So they're your beginner methods. Now, for your intermediate methods, you can make your own parasite cleansing supplement. And what you need for that are some capsules. Just some capsules like that. So I'm just going to show you. These come in all different sizes. So, make sure you get one that you're comfortable with. That's quite a decent size. One just trimmed off. And what you'll need is some food grade essential oils. This is so important. Do not just get one from a health food store. They probably aren't going to be food grade. So these are doTERRA. However, wherever you're from, it might be different. Okay, and this one here is oregano oil, or oregano for my American friends. And I have clove oil, And these are the two I'm going to be using, but you could also use turmeric, thyme, rosemary. They're probably like the five best. You start with 1 drop. So you would put 1 drop of each. You may want to start with one drop, and then mix it with a carrier oil. You always want a carrier oil. So I've got olive oil. You could use a pipette from a herbal product, from a tincture, to get it in. It'd be easier. Otherwise, just over the sink, gently pour. But you could start with 1 oil, 1 drop. Then you could go to 2, and I wouldn't do more than 5 drops. And then you could, the next month rotate and do a different oil. And then to strengthen it further, you could then combine the oils. Okay, so you would then, put them in there, the drops you want, with your carrier oil, and take that. I tend to make up a batch, put them in a little pot, and then I can take one each day before bed. So that's the intermediate parasite cleanse supplement method. And then the advanced method is doing a rectal approach. So when you're taking a parasite cleansing product or supplement orally, it's only going to kill parasites in the gut. So if you want to be able to reach parasites in those really difficult to reach places like eyes, brain, where you're reaching the blood-brain barrier, to do that, you want to get the herbs into the blood system, the bloodstream. And so, again, we can use our garlic. Now, this might be a bit big to apply rectally, but again, you would peel it. Do not cut it. If you cut it and you insert, that is going to burn, okay? So you want the clove whole. So pick one you're comfortable inserting. Use a bit of coconut oil as a lubricant, and simply insert it before bed. In the morning, it will then be evacuated with your first bowel movement. If you want it out sooner, or if it doesn't come out for any reason, then you can perform an enema and it will flush it out. Really great to do over the night of the full moon. And then the other method, instead of a garlic or clove, you can insert a suppository. So you can get, this is an ice cube tray, which you can get on Amazon. Just put in something like a rectangle shaped ice cube tray. And each one, they're quite long, is going to make 2 suppositories. So you'll break them in half, and you'll use half as a suppository. And we always use a carrier oil, okay, with our oils. And again, we're not taking it orally, but we are taking it rectally. And because it's entering the body, it must be food grade, very, very high quality. So doTERRA, Young Living, you can get a brand called Zane Hellas, and specifically oregano oil in that brand that's food grade. But just please make sure, because you could make yourself very ill otherwise. I use fractionated coconut. So that's basically runny coconut. The coconut oil that you cook with tends to be a solid, whereas this is liquid. Very important. You apply your carrier oil first. You do a layer of the carrier oil. Then you put your essential oil on top. So again, start with 1 drop and go up to 5 drops. That can be of a single oil, or you can combine your oils. It's entirely up to you. And then you will again do the carrier oil. That's then going to have a carrier oil on the bottom and the top, with the essential oils in the middle. So it's going to blend them and encase them. If you can gently just sort of mix it so that it really blends in, what you want to avoid is the essential oil coming into direct contact with your skin. Because when you then, you're going to break it in half, you'll put that in the freezer, it will freeze, creating a suppository, you break it in half. You want to be pretty quick about implementing it, because it will start to melt. And then once you've inserted it, your body's almost going to grab hold. So you're going to feel resistance when you put it in, and then all of a sudden it's like it's going to suction it in, and that's it. You don't need to worry about how high you're putting it, just in is enough. And then it's going to start to melt. So if it's not encased in the carrier oil, the essential oil may then melt and then come into contact with the skin, which is going to burn, and it may cause some discomfort. If for any reason that does happen, perform an enema and get it out. It may just be a bit of discomfort. I mean, it has happened to me. It's not the end of the world. But if you do it how I've said, then you should avoid that. When I send this video out, I will link these products so that you know where to get them and you can get the right things. And if anyone needs help sourcing some essential oils, then feel free to message me and I can help you do that. So that's the practical, these are the methods that you can use, okay? So now I'm going to go back to sharing my screen, carrying with the presentation. So, like I said, I'm now going to give you an example of when you would actually implement these protocols. So let's say that in December, the full moon is on the 21st. What you might do is 7 days of a parasite cleansing method. So let's say you did the garlic orally. You're dicing it on a spoon and you're taking that for 7 days, paired with a colon cleansing method. Okay, support your bowel movements. You would then have 7 days off. So I do 7 days on, 7 days off, and then 7 days on, finishing on the full moon. So I always work out when the full moon is and then I work back. And then the morning after the full moon, with the red circle, is when you perform an enema. And this is when you're most likely to see parasites and expel them from the body. So that's an example of what you would do. And then the next month, you may have a break. And in the next month, you may then do 7 on, 7 off, 7 on. You may do 10 off, 10 on, 10 off, 10 on, whatever it may be. The reason we do it on, off, on is because if you just did 7 days on, you may kill the adult worms, but they're going to lay eggs. So what's going to happen when they hatch out is you're not going along again to sweep up the eggs. By doing that second time, we're able to get the eggs to prevent this cycle and prevent more adult worms then being in the system. So now I'm going to quickly touch on some of the things that we do in the wellness program. We use a colander. So if you've ever wondered how I'm able to share a lot of parasites and worms with you on my Instagram, it's because we use a colander. So on Amazon, you can get a colander which has a handle. And what you do is you lift the toilet lid, the toilet seat, sorry, and you put the handle under the toilet seat so that when you sit on it, you're actually securing the colander underneath you. Then you perform the enema, you evacuate into the colander, and because the stool is then loose from the enema, it's all going to go through other than actual debris. And then you can rinse that under the tap and see what's there. If it disintegrates and breaks down with the water, then it's not really anything. It might be a bit of mucus. But if it's there formed rigid, then you can inspect that, get some tweezers and have a little look. And I'm going to show you on the next slide some of the most common parasites that my clients pass and exactly what they are to help you identify yours. So as I say, we always pair with bowel movement. So we do a colon cleansing protocol right at the start to open up the detox pathways. And then we're including enemas when we're doing our parasite cleansing protocols. As we work through the wellness program, we are strengthening the herbs and protocols and approaches that we're using. So like I've demonstrated, you may want to start one with the beginner method. And if you feel fine and you don't get detox symptoms, the next month you may then go on to the intermediate and then onto the advanced method. And that's going to make it most effective. We do the on, off, on approach to get both adult worms and the eggs. We do gut focus as well as the systemic focus. So gut focus being orally, systemic being rectally. And then we maintain that twice a year. So, once you've resolved your health issues and you want to maintain your health for the long term, it's important to know how to maintain that. And that's when you're going to be doing these sorts of protocols once or twice a year. So let's have a look at how you can identify the parasites that you're passing. So the most common parasite you will pass is a type of roundworm called Ascaris, and that's what that looks like. It's just a basic worm, okay? The hookworm, as I mentioned earlier, it's thicker at one end, and that's where it hooks onto the intestinal wall, and it steals a lot of the nutrients. Flukes can look all different, and it's going to depend on the age. So a lot of my clients will describe them as rolled up tomato skins, which is funny because they've never noticed them before of all the years of eating tomatoes. But when I show them pictures of flukes, they're like, oh, I thought they were tomato skins. I've been passing flukes and parasites. So at the top, the more fleshy, wider fluke, that's fresher. And then the rolled up, dried up, more twig looking, they've been around dead for a long time in the body. And then you've got tapeworm. So tapeworm's also very, fairly common. And how you can identify the tapeworm is that it's got segments. So you want to get up quite close and personal with that and inspect it, and it will have segments. There is also what's called the ropeworm. It's a bit undecided really as to whether that's actually a parasite or more mucusy. It's a bit unbeknown, but getting that out will make you feel better. And it looks like a rope. It's like a twisted bit of rope, a bit like tissue paper, but it looks like a rope. And then you can have candida, you can have mucus, mucoid plaque, all sorts of problems, and all sorts of things, which you're going to feel much better the more you get out. And these methods can help with all of that. There's a key takeaway from today, which I want you to know, and that's that parasite cleansing helps to reduce symptoms. But whether or not that's short term or long term is really going to depend on how much you're able to change that internal terrain and that internal environment. And so this is where, detoxification protocols, the gut healing process, and all of these other holistic healing modalities are going to come in if you want to initiate that root cause healing. So if you have chronic symptoms and chronic health issue, you do want to be implementing all 6 of the core principles. And if you're just looking to maintain good health, then just learning how to parasite cleanse for that maintenance is going to be absolutely fine. And so let's review some of the big ideas that we've covered here today. So parasites are not a root cause, but they are one component of the root cause. Okay, so they're part of it, they're not just it. Toxicity and parasites go hand in hand, and our approach to parasite cleansing must be the same. We've covered the 3 big mistakes to help you avoid those. We've touched on why parasites are so common and where you get them from, the importance of the terrain of the body. We've gone through the 6 core principles to root cause healing. We've talked about how to colon cleanse and why that's important. I've gone through my parasite cleansing strategies with you. We've gone through tutorials of beginner, intermediate, and advanced parasite cleansing methods. And then I've helped you identify some of the most common parasites that you'll pass. So what's been most valuable? So like I say, I did just do this live with a lovely group of people. And a lot of them said that they really found the full moon information really valuable, just knowing that if they perform it over a full moon, they're going to maximize their results. So I'd love to know what's been most valuable. Send me an email, let me know, message me, contact me in some way and tell me what was most valuable about this presentation. And for those of you who are serious about implementing parasite cleansing because you want to improve your health and you're ready to do what it takes to resolve your chronic health issues and symptoms, then I do have a step-by-step process that you can follow. And that's going to take you from where you are right now to being able to ignite your body's self-healing mechanism and get the body into a position where it can heal itself. So as we discussed earlier, there are a few big problems that you're probably facing right now. You're trying to improve your health and resolve your chronic symptoms, but you're not sure how. You don't want to make yourself worse in the process. You want to get to the root cause of your symptoms and not just use these short-term band-aids. And I want you to imagine that in just 3 days from now, you have this clear roadmap of what you need to do to resolve these health issues. And you're feeling both relieved and confident in this process. And now I want you to imagine that in 3 months from now, you're implementing this roadmap and you're feeling so much better. Your energy is skyrocketing. Your skin is the clearest it's been in forever. And your digestive systems have disappeared. And then finally, I want you to imagine that in 12 months from now, and you're living a completely different lifestyle. You're implementing everything you've been taught and shown in the roadmap, and you're feeling like a completely new person. You're showing up as the version of yourself that you've longed for such a long time. What type of person are you seeing in your future? How are they showing up? How are they making decisions? Who could you become? And so I want to share with you how my clients reach their goals easier and faster than they thought possible. But before I do that, I just want to be upfront and say that this next part is not going to be for everyone. This is not for you if you're not in a position to commit to a process right now. You're not ready to implement these changes and you're happy to stay where you are. But this is going to be for you if you're willing to try new things and you're prepared to do what it takes to get the results you desire and you're willing to make that commitment to yourself. So for those who are looking to take that next step, this is called the Wellness Program. And the reason I created this program is because I wanted to bring the answers to people that conventional medicine is just not providing, to teach people how their body has always been on their side, to help people fall back in love with their bodies again and repair that relationship, and to give you the tools, love, and support that you need, and ultimately to empower everyday people to become their own healers. And so the purpose of the program is to help you resolve your chronic health issues. And like I say, it's all about working with your body and igniting your body's own healing mechanism, all without band-aids, medications, or long-term restriction. This is going to get to the root cause and crux of everything. And we'll teach you why that is and how that works. So this is the process. It's a signature process that we take you through that goes through those 6 core principles that I've been teaching you about. And some really important elements. So like healing the gut. If your gut is working optimally, you're going to be able to digest, absorb, and assimilate your nutrients properly. That's going to resolve your nutritional deficiencies. That's going to strengthen your immune system. So I said earlier, 70% of our immune system is in our gut. We need that diverse, robust gut function if we're going to have a really strong and resilient immune system. And that plays a big role in the body's ability to be able to heal itself. We're doing advanced detoxification protocols. So we're going to do head to toe detox. And this is going to enable your delicate organs to be able to perform all of their important functions, which is needed for a healthy body. This is going to create a well-oiled machine. And we're going to teach you about quality nutrition. We're going to help you heal trauma. We're going to help you regulate your nervous system, be at peace, reduce anxiety. We're going to really help you go inwards and listen to your own intuition for what your body needs. We're going to be doing just the basics as well, good sleep, movement, sunlight, eating nose to tail, and actually eating the right foods at the right time. Plants are very cleansing. So when we want to cleanse the body, plants are going to help us do that. But when we're ready to build and nourish the body, that's when animal foods really come into play. So it's knowing when to have plants and when to have animal foods. And by implementing them at the right time, you're going to fast track your progress and your body's ability to heal. When all of these components come together in a holistic process, this is extremely powerful. And this is what finally moves the needle for so many people that haven't got results for years and years of trying. And which is why it's able to help a variety of chronic health issues, from acne, eczema, psoriasis, all through to chronic fatigue, infertility, arthritis, colitis, you name it, any chronic health issue. So after building out the program, I realized that some of you might be thinking, I can't go through that sort of process on my own. Maybe you don't have a supportive family or partner, or they don't really understand what needs to be done in order to make these changes. And so this is why I created the Facebook support group. So you're surrounded by people who are on this journey with you. They're physically in the trenches. They're doing this work and they're getting the results around you, which is so powerful for your subconscious mind to see what's possible. And your subconscious mind will actually try to adapt you to fit in with your new crowd. It's so powerful. And you have lifetime access. We'll always be here for you. When you join forever. And so I also thought not everyone is going to have the time to be cooking from scratch, doing all the meal prep. We don't want long, complicated recipes. And so I've created recipe bundles, meal plans, and shopping lists so that make eating healthy so much easier. They're simple and straightforward, yet they're highly nutritious. And they can be implemented by even the busiest of lifestyles. I run a business. I have a 1-year-old. I don't have time to be in the kitchen all night. I completely get it. And so your body is not always going to be able to go to the pace of other people. Your body might not be able to handle everything, day one. And so I don't want you to feel like you're rushed and you have to complete that within a certain time frame, which is why I've given you lifetime access. I also want you to use this for not just you, but your family. If you ever get a health issue in the future, if your family member needs help, you can log into your program and you can follow that roadmap that's laid out for you to resolve any issues that you have. And now this one is exclusive to this workshop only. I'm putting together a free Parasite product pack. So these are some of the same parasite cleansing products that we use in the wellness program, along with one of my favorite books on parasites. So if you're watching this workshop, I know that you're really thirsty for knowledge on parasites. And so this is really going to give you that information that I know you'll be interested to learn. So I'll be sending that out wherever you are in the world. You'll be getting that parasite product. And so here's some of our graduates from the program. So Jessie had polycystic ovary syndrome. Alice had acne. Chloe had a whole host of different issues that they couldn't get to the bottom of. And it really helps with any sort of problem. Jessie wishes she started the wellness program sooner, and it was one of the best decisions she'd made. The words I probably hear the most from all of my clients are that it's life changing. It will change the way you see yourself, your body, and just your health in general. It just changes your whole perception and perspective on everything. Chloe described it as taking off these blurry glasses and seeing for the first time. It will really give you that clarity to understand what your body's been needing all of this time. So this is a overview of everything you get in the program, and we're only adding to it all the time. So this is the least you'll ever have. Like joining now when you get lifetime access, and we're adding to it all the time. It's just unreal. And you know, the total price is over £4,000. Like I've had to actually get some of this stuff from external experts. If there's an area that I don't have enough knowledge myself, I'm bringing in experts to make sure they can bring that to you, because I want to really completely give you that toolkit that you need and all those healing modalities that make up that completely holistic approach for the mechanism to work. Okay. On the market, other practitioners are selling something not even as good as this, I must say, but similar things for at least 2,500. And the wellness program price is $299 a month for 4 months. So you know, I'm doing it monthly as well to make it as affordable as possible for people, because everyone should have access to this information, right? I needed this desperately when I was in this situation. I desperately want you to have this information because I know how much it's going to change your life. And I want you to love this, okay? So if you go into the program, you buy the program, you go in and you think, do you know what? It just doesn't resonate. This just doesn't fit with my belief system or what I think my body needs. That's absolutely fine. I'll refund you completely and there's no hard feelings, okay? I want to completely remove the risk, because there's nothing worse than, you know, thinking, will this work for me? There's so many methods and practitioners saying all sorts of things that it's so hard to know what to trust and what's going to work. Again, I've been there. I've spent a big fortune on this. And so I want to remove that risk for you. Could this work? Come and have a look. See what you think. And for those that sign up in the next 24 hours after watching this workshop, I'm going to throw in my group programs. So once you've healed, once you've gone through this process, once you're living your healthiest, happiest life, let's maintain that. Let's not get into this position again. And so you can then parasite cleanse or give your eliminatory organs a cleanse on a regular basis, just using these short programs. You know, you don't want to be going through a real deep dive every single time. So just having a program that you can follow for short periods is a great way to dip in and out to maintain good health. Let's do it, okay? If that's resonated with you, if you feel like, yes, this is what I need, this makes complete sense. I want the result that Jade had with her cystic acne. I want the result that Chloe, Alice, and Jessie have had amongst hundreds of others. Then this is where you can go. It's on my website, thewellnessprogram.com/the-wellness-program. I just need to say that I do only have 8 spaces because I do all of the coaching myself. So you'll work directly with me. And naturally, I only have so much time. So if it allows you to sign up, it means there are spaces. Once we're full, you won't be able to sign up, okay? So if you go on there and it lets you, you know there's still a space available. And I'm just going to finish with some of the common questions that I get from prospects who come to join the wellness program. So for the supplements and products that you'll need, this will vary, but it will be between 1 and 200 for each part, and there's 4 parts of the program. Each part you follow for a month. Will I get any coaching or one-to-one support? We give you intense support. You know, changing your life, your health, and your lifestyle is not an easy feat. So we are there for you every step of the way. You work one-to-one with me via WhatsApp. I'm available 24/7. We also have monthly Zoom check-in calls, and you also have the Facebook support group with everyone else. There's lots of coaching. And will it be tailored to me? Yes. There is a health form. So once you sign up, you'll complete that with all of your symptoms and health issues, medical history, your family's medical history. We do a real deep dive. And that's how I make tailored recommendations specific to you. And then finally, can I join at any time? Yes, you can, subject to availability. Like I say, I only have so much capacity for clients. So providing their space, then yes, you can join anytime. That's the presentation. So it's now dark. Sight off light, it's now dark. I really hope that was helpful. We've gone through so much information. Hopefully it's not overwhelming. If you found that interesting, if you really want to go to the next level and you want to see how parasite cleansing is going to fit in with doing that root cause healing, leave your chronic symptoms and health issues in the past, then the wellness program seriously is for you. Send me an email if you have questions or you want to talk further. You have the recording of this now, so you can go back and watch anything again if you just want to process that a bit more. And as I say, there'll be links within the email for how to do an enema, my enema tutorial, and links to the products that I mentioned for the parasite cleansing supplement and suppositories that you can do. So I really hope you've taken value from that, guys. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch this workshop. Feel free to tag me in anything on Instagram if you did benefit from this. I would love to raise awareness to others about parasites, and to send this to them too, so they too can learn and use this ancient healing tool in practice. Take care and to good health. Bye.